Hey guys. Okay, so this is going to be a little video that I wanted to do for a while, but I never got a chance to actually get around to doing it. And it's basically going to be a video explaining how I came to Wicca. Now, it started probably about when I was around 12, when I started questioning my parents' beliefs and just God in general and just trying to find things out. Basically, it came down to every time I would ask somebody something, or if I would look at something and research, through either books or just talking to people or, television, watching different historical shows, it would always bring up these questions that just wouldn't get answered, or the answers that they would provide would be sort of, kind of like vague answers, just sort of, oh, just it's the will of God, or it's just the way things are, accept it, basically. That's what my parents would always do, just accept it, and no, just move on, accept it, and just leave it alone, And it would always bother me, and I'm like, why? But I want to know why, So, being an independent person, I think that's kind of my problem. I was kind of stubborn, and I still kind of am. I don't ever ask for help, unless I really, really need it. But I remember just having it muddled around in my head for a couple years and thinking about it. And I came across a book when I was, again, in like middle school, I think. I was in 7th or 8th grade, and I came across a book, and it was this little kiddie book. It was like a handbook or a guide to witchcraft and wizardry or something. It was like a how-to type thing. And I remember grabbing that book, and I remember seeing it in the catalog and going, oh, I need to get this. I need to get this. I need to find out what this book is talking about. This is something I need to look into. Because, again, Harry Potter was popular, and so I kind of knew about witches and wizards, but I didn't really know anything beyond that, beyond books of, like, fiction and movies and stuff. So I got that book. It came in, and I remember reading it and looking through it. And it would, talk about the different steps and whatnot. And I did them all, I did them all. And I came to the end of the book, and I looked, and I realized after I started the book that this is something that is kind of accurate, but it's still childish. I realized that it was obviously make-believe, sort of. It did have some truth to it. I remember looking back at the book, and I realized some of those things they talked about, different things to do, were still kind of accurate, today. I mean, it makes perfect sense now that I've read up on it and actually learned. When I look back, I go, wow, that was actually kind of accurate, And so that started getting muddling around in my head, and that got me thinking. And then I remember, as that was happening, I remember thinking, there's got to be something else out there. I'm missing something. There's something missing from that puzzle. This is one piece, but there's got to be another one. There's no way that this is it. So I remember looking back, and I go, okay, well, I need to find something. And at the time, there really weren't a lot of books on Wicca, witchcraft that I knew about. Okay, and again, you're young, you're limited to your resources. I didn't have a computer, and I didn't know what would I Google, like witchcraft? And I think I did that once, like when I was young, and I finally got a computer. I Googled witchcraft or spells or something, and I came across a few websites. And again, this was very early, so a lot of things that were up weren't super accurate, and a lot of the things I learned were sort of, again, not super valid. But again, even though it was in that way, like, not completely valid, I surprised myself. I realized at such a young age that I was able to put together and realize that there was something more out there, that this website or this book or this topic, there's more to it. And I remember there was like a voice in my head, and I realized it was probably just the god and the goddess or the universe trying to tell me, keep going, you're almost there, you got it, just, you've hit the mark, you need to just keep digging, So, I remember I told myself, okay, I need to put this aside in terms of doing outside research, and I need to look in myself and just think about things for my own self. Because, again, very independent person, like asking for help. So I said, okay, I'm going to do this on my own. I need to think about this. So I spent 5 years. This took 5 years, okay? 5 years of deep looking into myself, thinking about my beliefs. And in this process, I dismissed Jesus and said, okay, that's not going to work for me. No, forget it. So for a while I was calling myself just, either atheist or like agnostic, and I was like, I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't think that's right, but whatever. We'll see. So I put that off to the side, and it took a couple years until I turned 18. And when I turned 18, I realized, okay, I need to revisit this. I think I can't remember what it was. I think maybe it was I caught wind of Charmed, and that again got the wheels turning again. And I remember watching it going, oh, there it is. It's a little bit more accurate this time. And I remember myself thinking this, and I go, wow, it's seriously more accurate now. It's almost there. And that again got me researching more. And at this point, there were more books available and stuff, so I was able to actually go out and purchase a book. And I ended up purchasing the book I've showed everybody like a million times. There'll probably be some people out there that can literally can't find it. It's in my library. But there's probably people out there that can like read this book to you like word for word. It's Wicca, A Guide for a Solitary Practitioner by Scott Cunningham. I picked that book up. That was my first Wicca book ever. And I'm glad I found it. I picked it up, and the first couple pages I read, and I was like, hi, I found it. There it is. I found what I believe in, what I'm calling this. I figured it out. I had my beliefs. And now I have a word for this. There's an actual religion out there that deals with this. That talks about, nature and honoring and sacred land, and that it's a living organism that's constantly changing and adjusting, and we're all a part of it, and there's a connection, there's a oneness with the universe, and everything you do is like rippled out, and everything is affected by the seasons, and that the divine is both masculine and feminine, and then there's not just one God, So it totally blew my mind, and I remember going, I struck home. I got there. I'm totally on it. This is fucking awesome. And that got the process starting. Got more books, researched correctly online with proper terms, and again, it surprised me that like with all the with what little knowledge I did have, that I was able to sort through the bullshit. I mean, it could have very easily gone the other way, and I could have totally gotten some book or a website with some dude or some chick on like his high horse, just going off on it and just totally calling whatever he is as completely accurate and legitimate, and I could have gone off the deep end and gone like completely insane and be like, oh my god, this is like the best thing ever. It's like my soul is dark and there's this, weird and all that stuff, and it just sort of surprises me now, and I sort of always have that like feeling that I'm like, at least the research at least of the books that are out there now, there are still some books out there that are fairly accurate, that you can actually steer people in the right direction and not take them off their path and completely screw their life up. Because there are dark things out there that exist in the world, and it's best to stay away from those things. It's good to learn from them, but stay away. Keep a distance, So, that was the beginning of it, and obviously, as the years progressed, I got more and more serious, and ended up finally, I remember going through Scott Cunningham's book and looking at, it had the witch's tools listed and whatnot, or the altar just in general, and I remember going, oh, I totally have like all this stuff laying around anyway, I've always collected knives and daggers, so I had plenty of athame to choose from. Candles are like ubiquitous in my house, or in this house in general. Candles everywhere. So that was like, okay, well, look at that. I got candles, I got my athame, bam. And I'm like, oh, well, okay, what else do I look? And I looked, and I'm like, oh, broom. Dude, totally, we got brooms everywhere. Or chalices, got glasses everywhere. Stones, oh my gosh, stones. I have so many stones before I realized how to use them correctly in whatever sense of the word. I remember my first stone, the first one I ever had was a little amethyst cluster, and I almost found it once, and I lost it again, but I wish I had it. But it was a tiny little amethyst cluster, and I remember having it and thinking it was just the best thing in the whole world, and it was awesome. But besides that, I had a whole bunch of, I showed it in another video that I'll probably have to put up again. It was a video showing you guys all my, I have like a bunch of geode slices, or agate slices, that I had, again, you know, that. And then I had my tiger's eye, the one I showed you guys, a little egg-shaped one. I've had that for as long as I can remember, again. That was a gift from my grandfather, so a lot of the things that it talked about, I'm like, oh, I already do this. You know, I already have these things. I already do these things. You know, I already do go outside and experience and take it all in. And I had a strong connection with the elements anyway. You know, whether it be earth or air, just staying out in the forest. I love the forest and trees and foliage and being in the dirt or just gardening in general, because obviously I love food, so gardening is a big part of it, you know, growing vegetables or herbs, there's all that stuff. And, you know, the wind and the air, I love it. I love staying out when it's really breezy outside, or if it's a strong windstorm, oh my gosh. Like, that gets me off, dude, I swear. I'll stand outside and I'll just take that all in, and it'll drive me insane. And then, of course, water. Who doesn't like to swim, okay? Who doesn't just love to jump in the ocean or a pool and just be surrounded by water and just, you feel completely outside of the world. It's like you're in a bubble and there's nothing else going on. It's just you and the water and the motions and the movement. And it's just the most beautiful thing ever. And fire, of course. You know, it's this warmth, it's power, it's creation, it's the spark of life, it's that essence of, you know, it's that fiery essence that's like inside all of us that propels us forward, you know, it's the primal energy source, you know? So like I said, it all clicked. When it finally clicked, it made perfect sense to me. And I realized that I had been doing these things all my life, and I just didn't know what to call it. I just sort of was like, oh, well, I just like this stuff. I didn't really think anything of it. So, going on almost 3 years now in terms of seriously practicing, but again, I've been following since I was probably, well, I'm going to say, I started following an alternate path since I was 12. Okay, so it's been over 11 years. Even though I've only been practicing for, you know, 2 or 3 years. But I'm telling you, that stuff just comes naturally to me. I don't need it. It's just insane. But, so, yeah, I'm going to cut this video short because I'm running out of time. I just have a timer going. That's my little spiel on how I came into the craft and how that all got started. I love it. Every day I wake up and I just thank the God and the Goddess for all the gifts they've given me and all the knowledge and the direction in my life that now finally makes sense, and I have a purpose in life and not just this you know, drone-like existence where I'm like, you know, I'm living my life according to other people's desire. No, I'm living my life to my desire, my will, to my benefit. So that's about it. Hope to talk to you guys soon. Blessed be.